Hello, I'm glad you could tune in for this week's success tip. This week I am discussing the challenge of adding structure. When you are leading and in positions of leadership, you have to make sure you have structure in your business and in your organization. And there are times where you will go through seasons where you have to add structure because you as you're growing, you would need to add more structure, because when you're a solopreneur or a smaller business, there are less structures that may be needed. But I even would challenge that perspective, because you should operate your small business the same way you would operate a larger business, meaning that you should have policies, procedures in place that not only help you experience success the way you where you are now, but also will help you experience success for where you're going. And so just keep that in mind. But when you're adding processes and procedure and putting structures in place, one of the challenges, of course, is you have to identify where that structure is needed and figure out the process or that needs to be put in place to add more structure. But what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that you have to think about one other component, which is the people component. When you are thinking about adding or building or reorganizing or restructuring, you must think about your people. As a leader, you have to think about their capacity to adjust to change. You have to think about their mindset, their perspective, and their emotional state, because all of those things play a part in how you are able to build and the momentum you will have as you are building. Emotional state, mindset, and perspectives is one of the key things that you have to address. And so I'm just going to share one tip as to how you can address it. And that is, you have to cast vision. You must continually cast vision to help deal with their emotional state, because vision casting would take people from their present place of emotion and put them in the future place of emotion, where they can see and experience what you are building in advance. There is a science that says your mind sometimes cannot determine, basically it says this, because I'm trying to quote it directly, but I don't want to mess it up. It basically says that your mind cannot tell the difference between an actual experience or something that you visualize, because it's the same cells in your brain that are utilized. And so when you cast vision to get people out of their current emotional state, mentally and emotionally, they experience the vision that you have casted, which then helps them to be more in alignment with it, and then they can accept it in an easier way. And so you have to deal with that emotional state, and then you have to dealing with their perspective. When you cast vision, then it helps them to see things differently and think about something in a totally different way, so that they can then be on board with what you're building and how you're building and the processes that you're put in place. And then the final thing was that mental, which plays into the other part. And so make sure that you help your team get ready to adjust to the processes and procedures that you're putting in place, by helping address those mental and emotional states and helping them to see the future benefit and see themselves benefiting from the thing that you're trying to implement, or the processes that you're putting in place, and the thing you're building. Because most leaders' mistake is that they put a process in place thinking it's going to help their business or organization run smoother, and they forget about the people. So do not forget about the people. They are your greatest asset. So that's it for this week. Be successful.